Welcome to Fox Fight Game. I'm Mike Straka, and August 15th, there's a huge female mixed martial arts fight. Gina Carano is going to take on Chris Cyborg Santos, the most anticipated fight in female MMA history. Joining me now is Gina Carano. How are you, Gina?
I'm good. How are you?
Now, what is the deal with you and Cyborg choking out reporters? Please don't choke me out.
That was actually funny. I actually did that about 9 months ago for the Sports Science show, and then she did it pretty recently, and so mine came after hers, which was hilarious.
Yours was a little more controlled than hers was. You know, yours looked. It actually looked. I mean, it was cute. Hers didn't look cute. Hers was a little violent.
Different styles there. Different styles.
It looked like she did a wind choke and you did a carotid artery choke.
I just squeezed gently and he fell asleep and started snoring, and she just attacked him. Different styles.
Well, speaking of different styles, your stand-up game hasn't really been tested, and Cyborg is a pretty good Muay Thai fighter, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So what do you think your strategy going into this fight is going to be?
I'm just trying to get in the best shape possible right now, and just kind of envisioning. I don't know. I don't really want to say because then she's gonna know.
Well, how's your weight?
It's better than it's ever been.
Are you guys gonna make 145 this time?
Yeah. Well, I've never actually had a problem making 145. My problem's been at 140 and 135.
Okay.
So I don't really anticipate a problem there.
And this is for the featherweight belt, right?
Yeah, we're fighting for a belt.
That's pretty cool.
It is, and it's a great card too. There's a couple other belts that are being fought for too, I guess.
What was the challenge coming on board with Strikeforce? I know that they bought all the Elite XC assets, but you were sort of the last one that was signed on. Was there a challenge in getting that contract signed?
Contracts are just challenging in general. They kind of scare me a little bit, but once we all started talking and got our ducks in a row, then it was fine. You know, we got everything hashed out, and Strikeforce has really been accommodating, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. You know, I'm excited to see where Strikeforce takes working with Showtime and hopefully eventually CBS again. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting. It's good to be a part of.
Cyborg's last fight, she outweighed Carano by at least 30 pounds by the time she got into that ring. So you really couldn't tell what she brought to the game, could you?
Well, in every fight, you know, you can't really underestimate anybody just because they might be a little bit lighter. But I think that maybe, I don't know, maybe she kind of not underestimated, but maybe she took that fight for granted a little bit. Like sometimes we all do. Maybe that's why she had trouble making weight. I don't know. But I know what Cyborg's capable of, and I know that she's going to be taking this fight very seriously. And so I look at her best performance and think that she's going to be 10 times better than that, and that's who I'm training for.
There's a lot to prove in this fight, isn't there?
You know, my mom keeps on telling me, she's like, when it comes down to it, a fight's a fight. So, you know, it's going to hash out how it's going to hash out, and that's the way I got to look at it. You know, there is a lot of pressure, a lot of people watching, but when it all comes down to it, a fight's a fight, and I know I can do that. So. What
does your dad tell you?
Jab, jab, jab. I think he's a little nervous for this one.
Yeah, this is, I think, your biggest test to date, but nothing you can't handle, right?
Yeah, I feel good, and I've always wanted to be tested, and so I think that it's kind of like a win-win situation. I've got an amazing opponent that I'm training for. I've got a whole new focus. And it feels so good because I haven't been in this state of mind in a long time. It feels like I've been lacking this, so I'm looking forward to it.
I was talking to Sean Tompkins a couple weeks ago in Biloxi, and then again in Vegas over the weekend, and I said, you know, how does Gina look? And he said, you know, she fights guys all the time. I mean, that's what she does. Fighting Cyborg she's not afraid to fight Cyborg.
Yeah.
Is that generally the feeling?
Well, I'm surrounded by a lot of amazing athletes, and so sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way that she's going to be stronger than these guys. And so, yeah, that's That's pretty much. I know she's doing the same thing, so I think that's going to make for an amazing fight. I don't think it's going to go the distance.
What do you predict? Oh, never mind.
I don't make predictions.
Pain.
A lot of blood.
A lot of girl-on-girl crime.
Yeah.
to paraphrase Rampage Jackson. Speaking of Rampage Jackson, he and Rashad Evans got into a huge pushing match at UFC 100, right behind Dana White, right before the fight started, right before Coleman and Bonner.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Rampage just walking by, and he started talking smack to Rashad. Rashad just pushed him.
Aren't they like friends though?
No, they're not.
No.
They hate each other.
Oh, I thought they were friends.
They did the Ultimate Fighter. They're coaching now, and apparently they do not get along.
Oh.
Speaking of the Ultimate Fighter, your Elite XC mate Kimbo Slice has joined that cast. Talk about a target. I mean, would you want to be Kimbo Slice in that house?
I think that I think that's probably a really good decision for Kimbo because he is a great guy, and I think that people are gonna get to see that and really kind of realize what I've seen in the past. He's just an amazing guy, and I think people are gonna end up having more respect for him than anything. He's Kimbo. He's my homie, Kimbo.
I agree with you. I think this was a great move for Kimbo to do. He has a lot of critics, especially considering he wasn't a great mixed martial arts fighter. So to go into this house, into the lion's den, so to speak, especially after Dana was talking so much smack about him, I got a lot of respect for that. And I hope we get to understand and know Kimbo the person, not just Kimbo the guy with the beard.
Yeah, and gives him a chance to kind of prove himself instead of being thrown out there too soon, and it gives him a chance to train and be a part of the sport instead of just hey, go out there and be a superstar and fight and show us what you got.
Right.
Like, it gives him a chance to be a part of the sport, and so we don't know that he can't fight yet. Maybe he's going to surprise us all.
Right. Your last fight with Kelly Cobalt, right? Mm-hmm. You choked her out, didn't you? Or no,
I almost, what? I almost got her in a standing choke,
right.
And I can't. I just kind of flopped over, and I hate that I did that. But
would you get tired though when you're? I mean, do you wear out your arms when you go for a choke and it doesn't really succeed?
You're not supposed to.
Right.
You're supposed to just lightly squeeze. My jiu-jitsu coach is right there, so.
We don't want to see it. That's okay.
Just slowly squeeze. You're supposed to slowly squeeze, not.
Frank Mir fought over the weekend. Did you see the fight?
I didn't see the fight. I was at a family reunion, but I heard how it went. And Brock's a beast, it sounds like.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
Frank caught him with a nice flying knee. He kind of hurt him a little bit, but Brock came down and laid on him and then recovered and then just pounded his face. It was basically rearranged his face.
Really, yeah.
One thing about you guys fighting is that you never disappoint. You never disappoint. Like, I wouldn't want to be a male fighter on a card that you're on because you're always the person who has the best fight of the night. Oh,
well, thank you. I hope I can keep living up to that. And I think that this next fight with Cyborg is definitely going to be a good fight.
How do you like working with Scott Coker? I mean, it's a little different than Gary Shaw, isn't it?
It's like day and night.
Yeah.
But both of them have their different styles, definitely. So it's like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a Muay Thai. They're just completely different. But he's great. Scott's a good guy.
Well, I think, we got to thank Gary Shaw for bringing Gina Carano to the mainstream, and we got to thank Scott Coker for bringing her to the big leagues. And that does it for this edition of Fox Fight Game. This is Gina Carano. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck August 15th, San Jose on Showtime. Till next time, I'm Mike Straka. Enjoy the fights.